Hi everyone, it's Andrea. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be setting up my bullet journal for February. First of all, I accidentally deleted the first clip of me making these tulips, but you'll be watching me make tons of this in the following spreads, so you'll get a chance to see the whole process of me making them in different spreads. Since my January theme was a scrapbook theme, I really wanted to do something more drawing and painting heavy and a bit more artistic for this month. And one day, as I was scrolling through Pinterest, I found this picture of a bouquet of tulips using the sky as a background, and I decided to do a theme inspired on that. So I used markers to draw the tulips, and I wanted to have a more even background, so I used this blue watercolor pencil, but I actually only ended up using it for this spread because the page did get kind of wrinkly because of the water. But even though it got a bit wrinkly, I don't regret using watercolor for this one because I really like the look it gives, and since it's a cover page, it has to be a bit more special, and I really liked how it turned out. I also tried to use as little water as possible to avoid getting the page a bit too wet, and then I used the same watercolor pencil to go over some parts to make it a bit darker and make it even more even. Then I wanted to make the tulips a bit more detailed, so I used some gel pens. These are the Zebra Sarasa in the vintage colors, and just added some details. I try to make it like more sketch look and not perfectly crisp lines. So the next spread is my cover page, and for this I didn't add the blue background, but I still really wanted to add some tulips. And the quote that I chose for this month is, "It's all part of the process," which is something that I really need to remember at times because I'm really goal-oriented, and sometimes I can forget to enjoy every single step that takes me to my goals. It also might seem a bit messy because I'm jumping from like drawing the tulip flower to then making the lettering and then going back to draw the stems and the leaves, but this is because as I'm gonna go over the same parts of the flower or tulips again, I need the first layer to be dry in order to add the second layer so I can create those details and blends. So I just make one part, then go to another one to wait till it dries and then come back again. Also for these spreads, I'm using the Stick Brushables brush pens. I'm using the shade Apricot, and I don't really use these brush pens a lot. I actually only have like 5 different shades, but I really like them for making blending and different monochromatic spreads because of the two tips and how similar in shade they are, but still you can make pretty nice effects. This month I'm going to be going back to university. I'm starting the first part of the semester online, and at some point in the semester, once everything gets better with COVID cases, we're gonna go back on campus for some classes while some others will stay online for the whole semester. And I think it's gonna be definitely an experience to find out a way to use my bullet journal during that process and stay consistent with it, but hopefully I'll still manage to make all of my spreads on time. So for the next part of the spread, I also added some details, and I really wanted to add some more pops of blue, so I decided to make these little stars and dots using the same watercolor pencil. And then I made my favorite way to make lettering, which is adding an outline and a hollow drop shadow. After adding the drop shadow, I wanted to make the blue dots and stars stand out a bit more, so I decided to go over them with a brush pen that matched the color. So the next spread that I'm making is my monthly spread, which is one of my favorites to plan ahead of the month. And for this one, I decided to do just a simple grid and add the different dates and numbers, as well as the days of the week. I'm actually really excited for this month because as I'm starting my classes once again, I feel like it will make it easier for me to get back into routine because honestly I was kind of slacking all throughout January, but it's okay because I really needed that rest after a really exhausting semester. But still, I'm really excited to get back into my whole productive mood and make different spreads and stay organized for school, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to this semester. So then I use the same brush pens that I've been using throughout this setup to add some more details. I also drew another tulip right here. I was planning to add a little heather on top, something like grow or something like that, but in the end I decided it looked better just with a tulip in the background. And I also make some gradient lettering, which I'll be then outlining as usual, and I'm just adding some more details to the tulip so I can outline it next. First, I wanted to use the bullet tip of my Tombow brush pen to do the background, but it was taking far too long and also it wasn't looking that neat. So I decided to switch out to the brush tip, but I actually took like 30 minutes trying to decide if I was going to use the bullet tip to make it look smoother or the brush pen, because usually I don't like seeing like the brush pen's strokes, especially for this kind of spreads, but I still think it looked pretty good. The next spread in this setup is my habit tracker, and for this I tried a bit of a different header. I'm honestly not a huge fan of how it turned out, but it still looks pretty cute. And once again, as I said, I'm pretty excited to get back into all of my habits for this month. I also want to start going to the gym pretty soon, so hopefully my workout habit tracker will be far more filled than usual because I've been definitely slacking with that. And I'm also adding some more school and self-care related items because something that I want to do for this semester is try to put not as much pressure on myself and take care of my mental health as well. And for January, I tried to do a different layout for my habit tracker, which was just a really large grid where each column was a habit and each row was a day of the month. And I think it was pretty functional, but I'm still in love with making these tiny calendars and looking at them all filled out with different habits. So I decided to go back to that layout for this month. So for this spreads where I'm not actually drawing the tulips with the background, I decided to make these little blue drops just to bring a little bit of the blue into the spreads because I really like that shade of blue and I think it looks kind of cute. Once again, this isn't my favorite header, but sometimes we just gotta move on with things like that. And for the spread that I will be making on this page is a daily dose of gratitude spread. So it's basically a line a day but with gratitude. So each day I write something that I'm grateful for. And for this spread that I make on this side of the page, I usually switch it out every month. Sometimes I make gratitude spreads like this one, some other times I just make like a line a day or a goals spread. And for this month, I thought it would be nice to have something to keep me centered and grateful and happy while my semester starts. So for this one, I just made the same gradient lettering and added different lines with different liner colors that fit the color scheme. And finally, I'm outlining the lettering and adding some details. These spreads, I try to keep them pretty simple because as I'm gonna be adding lots of text, which is the gratitude, so I don't want them to look too full and too saturated, so I just made something pretty simple like this one. So here's a flip through of how the final spreads turned out. I really enjoyed making this setup and connecting with my more artistic and creative side. I really hope that you enjoyed them, and if you did like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. I hope you all have a great day, week and month, and see you next week with some more new content. See you next time. Bye!